You ever wonder, you ever had just a premonition where something just doesn't feel right? Trump nominated this guy. I can't think of his name. He has Indian parents, and he's going to be the head of the FBI. And this guy, something just doesn't feel right. Anyway, there's a cathedral of Notre Dame that burnt to the ground, and they rebuilt it and restored it. And today, Trump is in France with Prince William to commemorate or show respect through to the rebuilding of this Cathedral of Notre Dame in France. And I started looking at this, man. This is the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris. Is the most famous of the Gothic cathedrals of the Middle Ages. Now, when you start looking at the word Goth or Gothic, and then you start looking into um, the history of that cathedral, it has the most beautiful scriptural and Christian images and writings all over its walls and ceilings. It's the most magnificent thing you're ever going to want to see. But on top of it are these gargoyles. And as you study the history, it says gargoyles have either two um, uses. One symbolism for the gargoyles is to ward off evil spirits. Now, I know that because they got them on the downtown buildings in Harrisburg. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is built in the shape of a triangle, just like Washington, D.C. is built in the shape of a triangle. The founding fathers had all type of messianic and old Gothic Christian beliefs, and they were apparently afraid of each other. Even though they came over here and dominated this land, they still were not totally um, at peace, because they know at any time one of their own, could do some crazy shit, some devilish shit, could seize their property, kill all of their family, and seize their land. I'm just saying the people that came over here were very violent, sexual deviants. No, don't. You don't have to take my word for it. Just believe that the first ship that had slaves on it was called the slave ship Jesus. Hold on. And those people were screwing young slaves, like they could be 10 years old. I mean, they were screwing kids, children. So let's just keep it 100 here. The people that came here were very, very, violent and sexually deviant men that wore wigs and wore stockings, and they were strange people. Now if we see a man in wigs and stockings, we know what that means, but back then it was part of their culture to wear stockings and to wear wigs. As hot as it could be 100 degrees outside, they would still come outside with the wigs on and stockings. So I know. Hold on a minute. Because we're talking about the gargoyles on top of the Cathedral of Notre Dame in France. Now, hold on a minute. All right. Because I went on a journey today, because I was looking at the history of the Cathedral of Notre Dame and all of the different uh, religious and cult uses of that cathedral in its history. And I went towards the beginning of it, and they began to talk about, in the beginning, that building was meant to worship Jupiter, the god of thunder. Now hold on. Just the same building, right? This cathedral. Hold on. Let's see if I can get it. Here we go. Now. Oh, this is so amazing. Okay. Hold on. Did I have to start there? Did I have to start there? Jupiter. Let's go to Jupiter first. All right, Jupiter. All right. Jupiter, also known as the god of Jove, right? Or also known as Jove, right? Is the god of the sky. Now, that guy, oh, excuse me, and thunder. I can't leave that out. Because every time they say it this. Jupiter is the god of the sky and thunder, and the king of the gods in ancient Roman religion. Now, we got to keep in mind there are some people that are trying to exercise their kingship or their godliness on earth. In other words, there are some people that believe that most of the people that are on earth are beasts and that they are gods. And they identify with the old Greek philosophies, and they believe that as their heritage. And a lot of these people come from places like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Germany, all these types of things. And they are said to have migrated over to the UK, and then a handful of them became powerful and ruled the world through many different means. And then somehow, in the midst of all this, France and what's the name of it? God damn it, what do they call them? The country, you got Spain, you got France, Portugal, and the Portuguese somehow were able to deceive the planet through symbolism and different versions of religious faith and start a slave trade and basically rule the world. They took over the world. The transatlantic slave trade was a money tree that ended up, they ended up finding the new world, and they built this triangle again. Is a money tree. You got Africa, you got the new world, which is Brazil in the United States, and then you have England. That is the money tree. Sugar, slaves, tobacco. It was just a triangle of money. Again, we're talking about similar. The triangle is it's the same. I'm saying these people felt like it was their manifest destiny to go through the journey that they went through. And it's amazing to me as I look at this god of Jove or Jupiter, the god of the sky and thunder and king of the gods. Now hold on, because Trump's over there today in all of this here symbolism. Okay, now hold on a minute, because I got to go to this. Remember, Jupiter, we're talking about Jupiter, the god of the Notre Dame Cathedral, the ancient god of that space, that place, that building, that land where that cathedral was built. Many different gods and spirits and faiths have went through that particular building. Now hold on, because I'm going to go to this King of the Gods for a minute, because I thought it was very interesting to me as I went down this rabbit hole tonight. King of the Gods. Now listen to me very carefully. This is very important. I want you to remember, Trump, when the whole world was against him, where Kamala Harris had raised over $2 billion, and all of the might of the United States government could not stop him from being reelected president. And as far as the Christian church is concerned, this man must have been chosen by a higher power to be president again. Now, what that means for the world, we do not know yet, because there are a lot of different philosophies, and some people are not really going to even believe some of this stuff, but it's just true. If you read your Bible, the Bible says that Satan is the god of this world. Now, I know a lot of y'all aren't going to believe that. If you go to the Old Testament, it says that Satan was known as the bright and morning star. But then when you look in the New Testament, in the book of Revelations, it says, when Jesus shall return, he shall be called. When the Messiah shall return, he shall be... I would say Messiah because some people believe that Jesus is not the Messiah. He shall be called the bright and morning star. Now, hold on. It also is to say that says that Satan deceived the whole world. I'm saying you have to put all this together because it's starting to become something that men are trying to cause to become. As the Jehovah's Witnesses says, they said, well, what is God's name? Who is God? It's Jehovah. What does Jehovah mean? And they go down this fucking rabbit hole and they say, well, the name Jehovah means he that causes to become. Keep that in mind here, all right? All right, systems evolve as a tendency of God. Okay, as polytheistic systems evolve, there is a tendency for one deity to achieve preeminence as king of the gods. This tendency can parallel the growth of hierarchical systems of political power in which a monarch, man, this is really wordplay, in which a monarch eventually comes to assume ultimate authority for human affairs. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Other gods come to serve in a divine council. Now imagine, now hold on. Y'all aren't going to get this. I'm going down this journey, if I have to go down this journey by my goddamn self, because this rabbit hole is all just coming together so freaking masterfully, like something put together by masters of art. It is so amazing how this stuff is just ridiculously put together so perfectly that you can't deny it anymore. You just can't deny it anymore. Now, I want you to imagine, if you believe you come from a land of gods, you are gods. You come from the Roman Empire, you're calling each other lords. You have so much so that in your homeland, right, you have created a system of government from the place you came from. You call yourself lords. So you have in England the House of Lords. And then you have the House of Commons. So you're calling each other Lord this and Lord that. We are all trying... I want you to keep this in mind. So if you have men through this system of things, I got 3 books I bought year before last. I got to read all over again. The history of... I'll find it later. And I'll tell you about these 3 books so that if you want to read them, you can. If you don't, you don't. Because it's like the early history of Britain, the Anglos, the Anglos, the Saxons, the Saxons, I can't remember. It's the Saxons and the Brits. I can't remember. But it's 3 versions of history that's back to back that basically cause these people to evolve into the political system that they have today in England, right? It was basically copied over here, but called Republicans and Democrats. But over there, they were called something else. And I can't remember those words because it has been 1.5 years since I actually read the books. But I'm going to go and read them again because this history cannot be ignored anymore. You can't... Now, just imagine if there are people on Earth, you have something called the Committee of 300. You want to look up something? Look up the Committee of 300. Look up the black nobility. and look up the Bilderberg Group. Look up the Rothschilds. Look up the Rockefellers. These are people that control the affairs of men on planet Earth. And they plan the history of the world like 50 years out. And now they have mutated into something called, okay, we are entering an era where have redefined it as something called the singularity. In other words, they say now our ability as humans doubles every year. It was doubling every 5 years. It was doubling every 15 years, and now it is doubling and doubling and doubling. We're advancing so much that we are advancing double every year. Now, I want you to just imagine now, these people have come almost to the end of this era. We're getting ready to enter a new era of artificial intelligence controlling men. Now, before you can have artificial intelligence control men, you must have somewhere for the hierarchy to dwell. Does that make sense? Because hitherto, the hierarchy is spread all over the world in isolated places, and they live better than everybody else. Their children have better schools than everybody else. They get a better education than everybody else. They get all of the cool shit before everybody else gets it. Just like I got this projector phone that I bought it came out, 15 years ago. They've had these projector phones 25 years ago, where you point the phone at the wall and the whole wall blows up like a movie theater. All these types of fancy shits, right? These hoverboards. They had hoverboards almost 30 years ago. At least almost 30 years ago, they had hoverboards. Just stick with me now. I'm just saying. Now, they are able to experiment with the coolest shit you could ever imagine, which is mind reading and getting somebody in the room and being able to read their thoughts, their memories, the technology to do. I know. My audience is not going to believe this. What I want you to look up is there is at least one case that they've made public. You can find it on YouTube. It's a girl. She's able to see through the human body. In other words, she has, you know how Superman had X-ray vision, right? This is all cartoons. We say, oh, this is our cartoons. Well, there is a human being on Earth that has the ability to look inside somebody and see somebody's organs and see whether or not you have a tumor and tell you about it. And scientists have been examining this girl, and they said it's true. She just was born with this ability out of nowhere, right? There's two men, one black and one white, that have the ability to read a person's memories. Hold on. Not their mind, their fucking memories. Look that up. There's also other human beings that's able to read people's thoughts, tell you, oh, you were doing this at such and such a place when you were young, and there's no way they could have even known them. Told them all about their life history and everything, just out of nowhere. They're able to read their memories, their history, their thoughts. These are gifts that people have. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm talking about, we are entering a season where they're running out of place. They're changing what they want to do. Aforetime, they thought one day they will reduce the world's population and cause an event to wipe out 95%. That's what they put in writing. They want to wipe out 95% of the world's population and start all over. So then they start what? What do they start? It's a seed bank. I think, don't quote me because I'm not sure. I want to say this seed bank is in Norway, but I can't remember. But look up the seed bank. Look up seed bank. There's a seed bank on Earth that has every seed of every plant organically on Earth and it's put in a seed vault in like in an Arctic place. It's so cold, it's a vault. Just look up seed bank and you'll see. Now, I don't think they want to do that anymore. They want to do something different. But what I find interesting is, oh, anyway, how did I even go down that rabbit hole? Right now, I'm on this. Just read this. It talked about the. Okay. Eventually, a monarch. Oh, no. Let's start up here. This tendency can parallel growth of hierarchical systems of political power in which a monarch eventually comes to assume ultimate authority for human affairs. Other gods come to serve in a divine council or pantheon. Such subsidiary, I don't even know how to pronounce that, courtier, I'm going to look up that word later, courtier deities are usually linked by family ties from the union of a single husband or wife or androgynous divinity who is responsible for the creation. In other words, there are some people that become royalty. And many times when two families join together because they've received this much power in this place, this much power in this place, this much power in space like Elon Musk, this much power over money like the Rothschilds, this much power of political power like, for now it's going to be Trump. Do you know anyone that's going to be more politically powerful than Trump? Did you know the last 2 weeks, virtually every important person on earth has been traveling to Mar-a-Lago to meet him on his fucking house? Including the owner of Facebook. Now, I want you to see, out of nowhere, what we have been doing. How many was it? I want to say, was it 20 years ago? The Arab Spring. No, 2011. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 13 years, 12 years ago. I think it was 2011, the Arab Spring, where Kissinger said that when we began to use technology to uproot and change or cause what do they call that when you steal political power? You take the person who's in power out of power, almost violently, but now it's not exactly with violence. It's through protests and then violence after the protest. It's called the Arab Spring. Well, it started in Libya, Egypt, the Sudan. Where else was it, that Arab Spring? Egypt, Syria, the Sudan. I can't remember. I just remember those three. And I remember Henry Kissinger saying, this is just the first act in the first scene that must take place. Now, I wish I could find that interview. Henry, he said that before he died. I assume he's dead now. I don't know. I assume he's dead now. But this is what he said before he died. When that Arab Spring happened, he said, this is just the first act in the first scene of what must take place. And now that all disappeared. It started, and then it disappeared. Just like you remember when Obama first got in office and they had a flu in Mexico that was only fatal I think it was in California. I can't remember. But remember, it was a flu. This version of the flu was only fatal in Hispanics. It came for a few months and then boom, it disappeared. Remember that? All right, now hold on. The Arab Spring came for a season. Oh, it fucked up everything in the Middle East. And then it disappeared. Now, a week ago, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's the Arab Spring method in Armenia, Georgia, Syria. I'm like, what are they doing? And Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday, we are monitoring this. And he said some other things about their interests and shit like that, right? And I'm looking at this, and then out of nowhere, Trump goes to fucking France at this fucking thing. I'm just saying, I don't know what the future holds, but I know that there's not anything we can do about it. We got to respect Trump and and hope that he's not trying to destroy things. That's what I'm hoping. I hope he's not trying to destroy things, man. This 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 is some amazing stuff. Anyway, I wanted to share this. You may not even get any of this, but if you go down this rabbit hole, you'll start seeing all these different sub rabbit holes to go down, like the sky gods and you see all this feminist theories and the nature. And I thought perhaps Kamala was going to be was going to get elected, but somehow someone flipped the script, and they're now talking about the sky gods. So this is where we're at right now in this story that we're at. We're at the god of the sky, which is Jupiter. So we got to look up at wait a minute, this King of the Gods. King of the Gods comes from Jupiter. Hold on, because this is where we're at in this drama right here. It's where we're at. The building whose origin and ancient history worshipped Jupiter, or also known as Jove, is the god of the sky and thunder, and king of the gods in ancient Rome, and what we all call religion and mythology. Jupiter was the chief deity of Roman religion. Throughout what? Throughout the Republican and imperial eras. You can't make this shit up. Sooner or later, we're going to have to start looking at this shit. Now, I mean, nobody's talking about it. I just stumbled across it by just being curious about the Cathedral of Notre Dame and looking up the history, and I like, and I rabbit hole. These are fucking rabbit holes, bro. Anyway, this is what I'm studying right now, and later on, I'm going to make about a 2-minute video just to show you the 3 books to look up the history of how they created their governments and stuff, where these Anglo-Saxons and England, and how they evolved politically, so you can kind of understand our system is built off their system, and they're turning back to their system, which comes from another system. This system. Now, what this means, we don't know, because now we're talking about Christianity, and Christianity requires prophecies. And the prophecies, you start talking about sky gods. Okay, well, what are the sky gods going to do if they're evil? And don't you can't. It's hard to call something that can be good and evil evil, but it's just a fact. A god can be both good and evil. If you look in the book of in the Old Testament, it says, I, the Lord God, do all things. You know, I create evil. I cause calamity. They that seek me early shall find me. Just look it up for yourself. It's only one verse in the Bible. Just put Bible verse. I create evil, and you'll go right to it. Google will take you to it in 2 seconds. Or go to the Bible Hub and read the verse yourself. In other versions of, as you know, you got King James Version, you got this version, that version. That word evil is translated as calamity. So no matter how you translate it, it says God he can be destructive. He can cause evil. I create evil. I create calamity. I do all things. You know, I'm good and I'm bad. You know, I can God send a lying spirit. You so I, the Lord God, I cannot lie. God cannot lie, but God can send a lying spirit because He did so in the Old Testament. He sent a lying spirit. So so be careful how we. Anyway, look, let me go. I gotta go. I'm talking too much. God bless everyone, and everybody have a good evening. Okay, here's the 3 audiobooks that we've listened to twice, but I, I need to start off. I need to do it all over again. But here's I can't remember which order. Well, I might as well just do it. I'm gonna do this now so I can continue doing what I'm doing, going down this rabbit hole. So let me see. I'm gonna assume Northmen details. Okay, hold on. All right. Let's see. In 800 AD, the Scandinavians were just barbarians in longships, though they held sway in the north. Their power meant little more than the ability to pillage and plunder, which they did to bolster their status at home. But as the Norse warriors left their strongholds and trade and raid and settle across wide areas of Europe, Asia, and North Atlantic, their violent and predatory culture left a unique imprint on medieval history. Anyway, I'm going to look at this. This is very interesting. Hold on. So the time period for here is from 800, and then it goes on to maybe 1066. We're going to see about the Northmen. These are the 3 books I want to tell you. If you want to really know, oh, there it is, from 793 to 1241. All right, hold on. Now look at evil Roman empires before that. Hold on. The shocking history of ancient Rome's most wicked rulers. Oh man, hold on a minute here. Trust me on this one. You want this one. And then the third one is the Anglo-Saxons. Hold on. And this is about their government. A history of the beginnings of England from 400 to 1066. So the Anglo-Saxons and the Northmen kind of went parallel as far as their history is concerned. So this is a very I can tell you this from listening to this. Um, when you first start reading this book, it is so freaking interesting and so amazing that you'll get lost in this book for hours, and it's difficult to keep up with because the Republicans and how they describe everyone is it's the same system, our system by different names, but very very more crude and shrewd and everything else. And you're going to hear how they started creating their government and naming it, and then cutthroating each other in different ways. And you'll anyway, these 3 books. So if you want to, I'm just saying, if you want to go down the rabbit hole I'm going down right now, I strongly suggest listen to these 3 audiobooks, and then you'll start being curious about a lot of shit. A lot of shit. All right, that's all I gotta say. Damn, I'm trying to think what that other book was. We'll think later. There's another book, but it's not an audio book. And damn, what is the name of that book? It's black. What is the name of that fucking book? Damn. Maybe it'll come to me in the next day or two. But anyway, I'm going back down my rabbit hole. But just wanted to. There you go.